Hello, I'm Amanda of Inspiring Inkin. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video we're going to be making this dog kennel gift box. It opens at the top, the roof actually comes apart so you can get your treats inside. It's a fun project, so let's turn the camera around and get crafting. So here is the little dog kennel gift box in close up. You can see I've fussy cut one of the little dogs from the paper, and this is one of the Playful Pets embellishments. I've got some ribbon here as a closure, and I'm just going to undo that. And then this is how you get inside the gift box. So this is really cute. You can decorate it in lots of different ways. I'm going to be doing this with some more of this patterned paper. It's from the Playful Pets suite. I've got a bit of the paper here, and you can actually see how many different dogs you have. And if you're going to cut them out, you've got lots to decorate your projects with. And it's cats and dogs, so in the paper pack there are several sheets of cats as well as dogs, so it doesn't matter which kinds of pets you prefer, they are all in that suite. So let's get started. Here is the template. This is what we're actually going to be making for the main part of the box, and we're going to start out with a piece of cardstock that is 10.5 by 6.5 inches. Now please don't worry if you don't catch all of the measurements when I say them. If you scroll down, whether you're on YouTube or on my blog, you will see all of the measurements listed out for you. So we're going to start out with the 10.5 inch side at the top, and you are going to score it at 2.5, 5, 7.5 and 10, and then I'm going to turn it and we're going to score at 2.5. Now we then need to put some more score lines in, and that's, let me move the red cardstock because I've got red on red. This is what's going to make these flaps. And these flaps are what we have stuck the roof to. And we need to actually score these out. So what I've actually done is I've named them each section A, B, C, D. So take your cardstock that you've scored, you need to flip it over so that the 1/2 inch score, so that little flap there, is here on the left hand side. And what we're going to do is in section A, so the first square, or the first section, and the third section, we're going to score at 4 3/4 and 5 1/4. So I'm just going to put that back in there. So we're going to get 4 3/4, and we're going to score there. And then I'm just going to fold this up and wiggle it around till I find the right score line and score at 4 3/4. Then we're going to score at 5 1/4. So again, what I'm doing is I'm just wiggling the ball tool till I find the right line, and then I'm going to do the same on this one, 5 1/4. Now, if that's a bit fiddly, and I appreciate it is a bit fiddly, you can measure with a ruler to here, or use your trimmer as well, so you can do either of those things. We are going to have to do a little bit more measuring in a few minutes, so I'm not going to put my scoreboard very far away. I'll just put it to the edge of my desk, and I'm going to do some trimming, and then we'll bring the scoreboard back. So at the bottom, we're going to cut up from the base to the first score line. And we're going to cut this section off completely. So this bottom section there. Okay, now at the top, where we've got these score lines, we're going to make tabs. So you want to cut either side. And then cut along the second score line. And then you're just going to cut a little triangle in both pieces, and that will give you a little tab. So you're going to repeat that here. I'm going to cut that piece off. And cut that tab there. Okay, now we don't need this piece either. I'm going to cut that off there. And again, I'm going to cut a triangle on those two pieces there. So that gives you another tab. So you've got all of those pieces. So now the last thing that we need to do is to make these two pieces into the points for the triangle. Okay, so what we need to do is find the center point here and cut the triangles up. Now each one of these squares is 2.5 inches. So I know that the center point is 1.25 inches. So I've just made a little dent there, and I know I can cut from here, from this point to here, and that will make a perfect triangle. On this section, again, I can make it at 1.25 inches. But I need to make sure that I know where to cut on this edge. So all I'm going to do is flip that down and just use my ball tool and just make a little dent in the cardstock, and you'll be able to see that. And then that means I know where to cut. So I'm going to use my long bladed scissors and just cut straight up. Again, if you're concerned that your cutting might be a bit wobbly, then do use a ruler and measure it carefully. There we go. Okay, so that is all of that cutting. Now I'm going to get my bone folder and just reinforce all these score lines. Doing that really helps on your 3D projects. It just encourages the cardstock or the paper to bend and fold the way you want it to. Just fold those pieces. Okay. So at this point, this is the best point to do your decorating whilst it's flat. It's much trickier to decorate when it's kind of in its 3D form. So what I'm going to do is get all of these things ready. So I've got some patterned paper. I've got two pieces that are 2.25 inches wide by 3 3/4 inches tall, and they're going to be on here. And then these pieces are 2.25 inches wide by 2 inches tall. So just be aware of where you're going to stick them. So I'm going to put these two little ones on first. because they're quite straightforward. And then for these ones, what I actually want is there to be a little border all the way around the edge. And in order to do that, we're going to need to trim the paper to match these points. And like I said, you might be a little bit wonky with your cutting. I usually am. So the easiest way to get it to fit correctly is to do this. So I have left an even sized border all the way around. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the paper up so it's twice the height at the bottom. I'm going to flip it over and trim the paper. And then when I slide this down, it will have an even border all the way around. Okay, so I will just repeat that just to show you again. So it's got its even border left and right and at the bottom, but then I'm going to move it up so the bottom border is twice the size. Flip this over, ooh, and try not to make it go wonky at the same time. Right, hold it like that and just trim that off. Okay, that's those bits. Now what we're going to do is make the kennel outer. So I'm using this punch and I can't remember what it's called. So let's have a look. Ooh, it is called the Everyday Label Punch. And I'm going to punch a piece out of early espresso card, and then somewhere she says I have a piece of real red cardstock, and what I'm going to do is trim off the base, because that to me looks a little bit like a doorway, and I'm going to stick it onto the real red card. Oop. Move this up, make sure I'm in shot, like so, and then use my scissors and just trim around to give it like a little border. And it's a little bit fiddly, but I just think it just looks really nice as like a little red paint finish, I guess, around the door. And oh, where are the embellishments? Here. Get a little bone to put on there. And these are metal embellishments, so they are quite heavy. So you will need a couple of glue dots in order to make sure that they are truly stuck. And I did cut out one of the dogs, and I love this one. That's a grumpy puppy, isn't it? That is absolutely a puppy having a bad day. Let's pop that there, and then I'll just snip a little bit to 3D that tail. There we go. Okay, so I'm just going to sort out which side is going to be the front. That's going to be this side. So I'll pop this down, put glue on there, pop that down like so. Move it over. Let's put it in the middle. Okay, so that is the decorating of the box, the main part of the box done. What we need to do now is sort out the roof pieces. Now, these roof pieces are 3.5 inches square, and I've actually embossed these ones with the pine wood planks. This one is Tasteful Textile is what I've done here. And these are going to stick onto the flaps. But we just need to put a score line, a 1/2 inch score line on them. And we can't actually stick them down until the box is together, because you won't know exactly where it needs to go. So let's just put a 1/2 inch score line there, and there as well. Just fold that up. Okay. So let's get the box stuck together. So this small flap is going to be the first thing that we stick. And we're going to fold this piece over and give it a good press down. And then we're going to fold all of these in to make the base. Now we know this is the front of the box, so that's going to be the last flap that goes down. So what I tend to do is I put the back one down first, put glue on that, put the next one, and the next one, and then this one. And fold them all down, and then put my hand in from the top and press it all down. And you're just basically sandwiching glue and all of the layers. So the box is really coming together now. So now what we've got to do is we've got to stick these pieces onto here. And I have tried doing this so many different ways, and I've found that using a peg is the quickest and easiest way of doing this. If only I knew where my peg was. Hiding under the papers. That's where my peg was. Okay, so first up I'm going to punch the holes. And again, I'm going to kind of eyeball it, but obviously if you want to, you can measure it. And then I'm going to peg them together so they are square. And then I'm going to balance them on top of the box. So what that does is it means that the points here go into the roof, into the centre of the roof. And then I know where these pieces need to go, need to stick. So I'm just going to do one at a time. So you put the glue on this side, pop that down. So you know it's even, check it's even both sides. and then you're just going to hold it here just for a little bit, just to make sure it sticks. Okay, so once that's done, you can then put glue on your second side, and again fold that down and just eyeball it just to make sure it's kind of even where you want it to go, and then just grab hold of it. And it will just take a few seconds. This is the only bit that I would say, you know, just hold it a bit longer than you think you need to make sure it's in the right place, because then when you take the peg off, it will open properly. So what I am going to do is just give these a bit more of a squash. Double, triple check. And then all that is left to do, move all of my rubbish out of the way, is to tie the ribbon. Just make that bit a bit shorter. There we go. This is such lovely ribbon to tie bows with. There we go. I'll just give the ribbon a little trim on the two edges. Move everything out of the way, and there you have it. There is a second little dog kennel with a slightly grumpy puppy. There's actually the first one. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this dog kennel gift box. All of the products that you've seen today are available in my online store. You can scroll down whether you're on YouTube or on my blog, and you'll see product links to those items in my online store. Please do subscribe to both my blog, which is www.inspiringinkin.com, and YouTube as well. That way you'll always be the first to know when I have some new creative inspiration for you. I hope to see you again soon. Goodbye.